Hey guys, Coach Cook here. I'm going to help you out with some chemistry today. Going to talk about the density triangle and how to use it. So we're going to do 4 practice problems at the end of this thing that'll help you really get ready for the test. So here we go. First of all, the triangle. Okay, just in case there's any confusion about this is our density triangle. It's got density, mass, and volume on it. You can see it written this way. I also write it, just FYI, this way, where the old school way where you can put it D, M, V, and a line here, but it's the same thing, okay? So don't freak out either way you see it. So with the triangle, all you do is you cover up what you're looking for, and it will tell you what you need to do mathematically. So if I'm looking for density, I cover up density, and what does that say? Anytime in math you have something over something else, you do mass divided by volume, okay? I'm looking for mass. I cover up mass, and I have density times volume. If I'm looking for volume, mathematically, I cover it up, right? I'm going to have to do mass over density. Same thing with this triangle here. Just cover up whatever you're looking for, and it'll tell you what to do, okay? So let's do our 4 practice problems that I told you guys we're going to do. It should help you out and get ready for your test. So go ahead and erase this real quick. Okay, let's get to it. So, first one, a block of aluminum occupies a volume of 15.0 milliliters and has a mass of 40.5 grams. What is the density? So the way I always do these problems, guys, is first of all, tell me what it's looking for. That's the first thing you need to figure out. So if I read the problem, it says right here, what is the density? So density is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to put a D here, and I always just write my variables out to the side. Next, okay, go through the problem, and whatever numbers you see, deal with it, right? Just go in order. So if I'm going back up the top, the first number I see is 15. Well, units are super important during these things. So 15 what? Milliliters. I know that milliliters are going to be volume. Also, it says it right there, okay? So V equals 15. Then it says it has a mass of 40.5 grams. So that's the mass. First of all, I know that because it says grams, because that's our unit. Also, it says the word mass right there. So I'm going to put an M and 40.5 grams. So I've got my variables. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what to do with the triangle. I always write my triangle. I can have it up top, or I can just do like I'm doing here, D, M, V, okay? Well, cover up what you're looking for, right? I'm looking for my density. So I cover up D right there, and it says M over V. So I know it's going to be M divided by V, mass divided by volume. So I put them in the right order, 40.5 grams over 15.0 what? Milliliters. Units are so important during this section, guys. So I do the math, put it in my calculator, and it gives me 2.7. Now, you've done all this work. You busted your butt, and guess what? You still get it wrong because you don't have any units. I don't know if that's 2.7. Donuts, elephants, cars, whatever, right? You need to make sure you know what you're dealing with. So an easy way to do this is, first of all, it's density. So we not only know there's a few options for that, but also I can just look back at the problem if I wrote it out. G over ml. That's what I'm going to have for my unit. All right, next one. What is the weight of ethyl alcohol that exactly fills a 200 milliliter container? The density of ethyl alcohol is 0.789 grams per milliliter. All right. So first thing, like I said, figure out what you're trying to solve for. Well, the sentence right here says, what is the weight? Weight is another way of saying mass. Okay. So we are looking for mass. M equals, I don't know, right? So then go through the problem, find the numbers that are there, and just deal with them. So 200 ml. Well, I know that's going to be volume. So volume equals 200 ml. Then density of ethyl alcohol is 0.789 grams per milliliter. I know that because it says the word density right now. That is going to be D. Is 0.789 gml. All right. So now, the density of ethyl alcohol, got the volume, I need the mass. So do my triangle, D, M, V, okay? I cover up what I'm looking for. I cover up mass. If I cover up the mass, guys, it's D and V. So I'm going to multiply D times V. So that's going to give me 0.789 grams per milliliter times 200 milliliters, which equals, if you put it in your handy-dandy calculator, 157.8 grams. Okay, I know that they're grams because mass is always in grams. Also, and this part confuses you, just ignore it. But mathematically, if you want to know the reasoning why for that, it's G over ml, right? Because grams per milliliter here times ml, because it's just milliliters. And anytime that you're doing like a math problem like this where you have a fraction times a non-fraction, remember you got to put it over 1. So this guy would cancel out, this guy would cancel out, and all you'd be left with is G over 1, which would be G, which is how we get that. If that confuses you, don't worry about it. All you got to remember is that mass is always in grams, right? So what is the volume of silver metal if the mass is exactly 2500.0 grams and the density of silver is 10.5 grams per centimeters cubed? So first thing, what is the volume? That's what we're dealing with. So V equals, I don't know. I got to figure it out, okay? And then the mass of this object is this number right here. So M equals 2500.0 grams. And the density of silver is this right here. So far, pretty easily written out for us, right? No confusion. All right. Same thing. Have my triangle every freaking time, right? I know you guys are getting sick of it, but that's the point of this video. I want it to be so embedded in your brain that you get sick, right? So DMV, I'm looking for volume. I cover up the V, right? If I'm covering up this V, I have D and M. So mass divided by density. So 2500.0 grams over 10.5 grams per centimeters cubed, okay, equals, and if I do the math in my handy-dandy calculator, it gives me 238.09, so I can just round that up to 238.10. Now, what is my unit going to be for this? I have grams on top and top. I can cancel that out, right? And it's going to be what? Centimeters cubed is what I'm left with, which is an option for volume, so that's good. All right, last one. Now, this is probably the most tricky one that we're going to have to do, so please pay attention. All right. Sometimes in these problems, they're not just going to give you the volume number outright. You're going to have to solve for volume in a weird way, either by doing length times width times height if it's a regular shaped solid object, or it's going to make you do it with water displacement, which you're going to have to do some minor subtraction. So let's look. So I have 28.5 grams of iron shot is added to a graduated cylinder containing 45.50 ml of water. So that's going to be my first one I'm dealing with, just heads up. Then the water level rises to 49.10 ml mark. From this information, calculate the density of iron. So first of all, do your steps. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the density. So D, I don't know. Then go through the numbers just like we've been doing. First number I hit, 28.5 grams. So I know grams is always mass. So 28.5 grams. Then if I keep going, I see that I have one volume here and one volume here. Well, how the heck do I know which one to put where? Okay. I'm going to have to subtract these things, but I need to know which one is what. So if it says rises anywhere, guys, that means that this is going to be my like V final, my final volume. And this is like my initial volume, VI, right? That's like getting into some physics stuff. You don't have to call it that. I'm just getting to the point that this one is the one that needs to be the top number to subtract, right? The one that it ends with. So V is going to be 49.10 ml, because that's what the water line stops at after you add the object. And what we started with was the initial one, which is 45.50 ml. So before I can do anything with my triangle, I need to figure out this number right here for my volume. So when I do the calculations for this, this number gives me 3.6 milliliters. So now I can make my handy dandy triangle. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. I've got mass, density, volume, DMV. Okay, I cover up what I'm looking for, density, and now it's just a simple problem like we've been doing, right? Mass over volume equals what? It equals, once I put it in my calculator, let me write this out a little better. M over V, so let's put them there. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Just like you guys in class, sometimes I'm jumping ahead. Okay, and then 3.6 milliliters. So just plug it in the variables for this. So there's our new numbers, and that would equal, when I put it in the calculator, 7.91. I think it's like 11111 or something. We'll just round up. And what is the unit I'm going to use? Once again, G over ml is right there. So I'm going to put G over ml. All righty. Cool. All right, guys, have a good one. Hopefully that helped. Okay, good luck on your test.